everybody. Jeff Cowan here from Jeff Cowan's Pro Talk, back with my podcast entitled Right Service, Write Your Own Paycheck, The Path to Making Over $100,000 a year when writing service in the automotive industry in the United States of America and or Canada. And at this recording, like I always say, 20% of you out there doing that job right now, from big towns, from big cities, small cities, farmlands, no matter what, 20% of you are making $100,000 a year or more writing service, but 80% of you are not. Okay? And that just simply means you're not doing something right, because you should be making at least six figures. So how are we going to correct that? Well, the first step is the one you took today. You're listening to or watching this podcast. I will give you the information that you need to be in that $100,000 club. So with that, let's get started. Now, I have been out on the road. I'm sorry I've not done a podcast here lately, but I have been on the road nonstop, doing keynote addresses at conventions, doing workshops, private ones, public ones, been in Canada, been in the U.S., been all over the place, man. Even been on some service drives here and there. I'm telling you, we are busy, and I've seen a lot. Well, when I got back, I noticed that my email box and my texting had blown up with questions from you, the listener and the watcher. So we're just going to take a look at a couple of those questions today. I'm going to answer them for you as we get back in the mode of doing these podcasts again. So here we go. Question number one comes from a lady by the name of Suzanne. Suzanne resides in the great state of Delaware on the East Coast over there. And here's what Suzanne asked. Jeff, I was just in a Dealer 20 meeting where a company presented the idea of Service Advisor Kiosk. My manufacturer is also pushing them. What's your opinion? Well, first, for those of you out there who may not be familiar with the kiosk, it's exactly what it sounds like. There's a couple of companies out there who develop what looks like an ATM when you look at it, machine, where when a service customer comes in, instead of talking to a service advisor or a real person, they would put their information in and do all the stuff through a kiosk, totally automated. So what's my opinion on those? Well, you know, would I use them? Yeah, I'd use them. I'd use them for night drops. I think they're perfect for that. I'd use them for after-hour pickup. I think they're great for that. But to replace a service advisor, they're insane. This is an idea that's going to go nowhere. The big problem I have with this is I think there's a lot of dealers and a lot of independent shops out there that are going to invest thousands of dollars in these machines and get very little return. I mean, come on. 85% of any of sales made in the United States of America and or Canada on any given day still requires face-to-face, eyeball-to-eyeball, or voice-to-voice contact. And we're in that group. This is a people business. You got to get your head wrapped around. Stop trying to be Amazon. Amazon's already been invented, all right? This is a people business. So here's what I mean. You know, think about what you're saying here. If you totally replace the service advisor with the machine, how are you going to upsell? I mean, think about it. Customer comes in, they put in the machine, they're there for an oil change, and it pops up $40, but it also says, based on the mileage you entered, it's all you also do for a service. We have three versions of that. We have the basic one for $110. We have the better one for $200. And we have the ultimate premium package for $300. Which button do you think the customer is going to push? The one for 40, 100, 200, or 300? I think you know the answer to that. It's going to kill sales. Secondly, if they're being checked in by a machine, who's going to look for damage? All right. Thirdly, who is going to be the person responsible for calling the customer back after the vehicle's been in the shop and going for the upsell, giving updates? Who's going to deliver the vehicle? Who's going to check the vehicle in? I mean, all that stuff. All right. Now, so to me, my opinion is, again, using them for night drops, good idea. Using them for after-hour pickups, good idea. Using them for anything else, bad idea. Now, there's a second part of this, though, because there's also a manufacturer out there that is pushing this machine as an idea for the customer's first visit to a dealership after they pick up their vehicle, after they buy their vehicle. So their first visit in to get their first oil change would be done with one of these machines. Really? I just spent an average of, what is it now, $30,000 for a vehicle. I'm all excited about the vehicle. It's only got 5,000 miles on it. I was excited the day I picked it out. I test drove it. I drove it home. I've been showing it off to my friends. I love this. And so now I'm coming back to your place of business for an oil change, and I'm going to be talking to a machine. That's what you want the first visit to be like? Bad idea. So I think you get the opinion I have with those machines. I think it's a passing phase, and One other thing I wanted to key on is you mentioned that hey, the manufacturers are pushing this. Well, they are. You know, I won't tell you who because they're not here to defend themselves, but I'm out in Southern California in Orange County. There's a few manufacturers around here who do the math. And one of them was all excited about these kiosks because they tested them out in about 25 stores. And they were all excited because their national average when it comes to hours per repair order before they used the machine was 1.1 customer paid hours per repair order. Ooh, isn't that impressive? And by putting the machines in, their dealerships, 25 of them, they actually went up to 1.2. Ridiculous. I can't even believe they're being considered. But oh well, I don't want to beat a dead horse here. Let's go to the next question, but before we go to the next question I'm going to handle here today, I want to tell you about something coming up here at Pro Talk. Like I said, I've been on the road, and I'm just not getting back. I've got a few days in the office and only a few days before I hit the road again. I want to let you know, on October 6th in Las Vegas at the Aria Hotel, I'm going to be a keynote address speaker at a convention called Driving Sales. It's for dealers and general managers. You want to get there. Boy, this thing is lit up. There are hundreds and hundreds of people signed up to go to this thing. The crowds they're expecting are huge. A lot of buzz going around this thing. It's a great convention. If you want to see me speak for about an hour, hour and a half, that'd be a great place to go. Before that, next week I'll be in Vermont at the Vermont Auto Dealers Association. If you're in Vermont or the surrounding area, get there. The hour and a half presentation, it's another keynote address that I'm going to be doing, will knock your socks off. In addition to that, just some other things coming up. October 10 and 11, October 10 and 11, October 10 and 11, I'm going to be in Chicago doing my 2-day workshop. November 13th and 14th, November 13th and 14th, I'm going to be in Cincinnati, Ohio, presenting my 2-day workshop. I'm going to be one teaching it. You got to get there. Now, advisors, managers, here's the gig. If you truly want to be the best, you want to have perfect survey scores, customer retention well above 80%. You want to have an effective labor rate in the 92 to 95% range. You want to have hours per repair order that are through the roof and sales that are through the roof, and you want to eliminate heat cases forever. This is the workshop to sign up for. And I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I was told before I started to film is these things are about somewhere between 85 and 95% sold out. I want to finish this off and go focus on something else. So here's what I'm going to do. If you're listening or watching this, you call in, you invest in one workshop seat. For every one you buy, I'll give you a second one for free. That's what I want to do. I just want to get these things filled up so we can move on to different things here at Pro Talk. These are going to be great workshops. They're going to be fun workshops. We're going to talk about closing sales, handling objections, all those other things we talked about. So if you truly want to be the best, you want to be at one of these workshops, I'll give you a total plan, because I got to tell you this, advisors, you know, like I've said billions of times, I've yet to step on a service drive anywhere that's not fully capable of delivering at least 2.5 hours per repair order and customer pay, including oil changes. The drive that can't do that doesn't exist. So that's where I would shoot for. But let me just tell you this. Advisors, if you're not at least at 2.0, you're in risk of losing your job. Managers, if your shop is not doing at least 2.0 with an effective labor rate of 92%, these other numbers I mentioned, you're in jeopardy of losing your job. I tell you, I've been talking to a lot of dealers, I've been talking to a lot of manufacturers, and they are over the non-productivity that these stores are generating. And they're understanding that technology is going to get it. They understand it's their people, because their people are the one talking to the customers, and they're going for it. So if you're not at least at 2.0 with a 92% effective labor rate, 80% customer retention, near perfect survey scores, you know, and almost no heat, I'd be looking over my shoulder, because I'm telling you, you're not going to be in this industry long if you can't produce those numbers. You come to that workshop, and I will show you how to get those numbers like that. Let's go to the next question. All right, this one comes into, let me turn the page here. Wasn't quite prepared. I am now. Here we go. Question coming in from Terry. Now, Terry lives in the great state of Texas. A lot of great people down in Texas, one of my favorite places. Jeff, here's the question. It's busy now. How do I make sure I stay busy in the winter months? Well, that's a great question, and there's some easy steps to make sure that happens. Number one, make sure you have great service. I mean, make sure that you're delivering on everything you promise and you talk about to your customers. Make sure that you're following through with the customers. Make sure you're following up with the customers. Make sure you're out there on the drive, walking around the car. Make sure you're offering presentations. You're doing a multi-point inspection. All the other things we've talked about over the years you should be doing. That's step one. Now, assuming you're doing everything you're supposed to be doing on the service drive when you write them up, and assume you're following up throughout the day and doing everything you promised and you're exceeding all their expectations, One of the most important things you can do is the delivery of the vehicle. Now, I have worked with thousands of customers when it comes to survey scores and delivering vehicles and all that stuff. Let me tell you this. When you start talking to these customers about survey scores, the one thing they remember, good, bad, or indifferent, the one thing they remember is the last thing they experience when they're in your shop, which is typically the delivery. So if you're not doing a delivery of the vehicle, meaning that you personally are not delivering the customer back to their car after they're cashed out, start doing it. Now, when you do it, I don't have time to go into all the steps today on the right way to do it, but when you do it, you got to do it great, because that's the last thing they're going to remember. If you don't do one, then they're going to remember, what is there to remember? If you do a bad delivery or too fast delivery, that's going to be their impression. But if you can do a great delivery, and we've got steps to do that. As a matter of fact, we'll show you how to do it in the workshop. That's something that's the last thing they experience. That delivery is what they're going to remember. So that has to be letter perfect. And I will tell you this: most places we go to and most factory programs I've seen, they've got it wrong. I got it right. Okay. And you know what? If you can't make the workshop, give me a call. I'll tell you how to deliver a vehicle the right way. Number 3, call me. 317-506-1003. 317-506-1003. I'll tell you how to deliver a vehicle. Now, the final thing you can do when it comes to getting people back, invite them back in. After you deliver the vehicle, I want you to look at them, and I'll give you the technique right now. I want you to go ahead and get them set up for their next visit. Just like a doctor does, a dentist does, a hairstylist does, and all true professionals do, I want you at the end of the delivery to do this. Mr. Customer, one more thing before you go. I want you to take this printed, yes, I said printed menu with you. You'll recognize it from this morning on the service drive when I was helping you get your vehicle checked in. You're going to notice on this one I circled whatever miles, because I wanted you to know when you'll be due to come back in. Once you come back in, I also circled what we'll be doing, how long it will take, what your participation is going to be, and the like, so when you get here there's no surprises. Mr. Customer, I've noticed that you're putting about 1,000 miles a month in your vehicle. That being the case, that means this being September, we're looking at October, November, December, January, February, you're going to be due to come back. It seems to me the middle of the month works best for you, and it seems to me Wednesdays work best for you, so the middle of the month, Wednesday in February, is going to be February 18th. So let's go ahead and get you set up for February 18th. It's a Wednesday. You tend to come in around 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock sound right? Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to write you down that you're coming in for that service at that mileage on February 18th at 8 a.m. in the morning. Now here's what's going to happen before then. 2 weeks prior to that, you'll get a letter from the dealership or a note card that reminds you of that visit. 2 days before, you'll get a phone call from somebody here at the dealership, again reminding you of that visit on February 18th, which is a Wednesday at 8 o'clock in the morning. If we don't hear back from you, we'll see you then. If it works out for you, we'll see you at that time. But for any reason, between now and February 18th, which is a Wednesday at 8 a.m., that time or date doesn't work for you, you simply give me a call and I'll move it up or I'll move it back. That is one of the easiest and most effective ways to get somebody to come back. The first time because you're going to train your customers now, the first time you do that whole process, you're going to get a response of about 62 to 63% of those people to show up on time and buy everything you said. The second time you cycle through your customers, that number will jump into the 70s, and the third time and beyond, it should jump up around 80%. So that's a great way, but that will not work if you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing during the checkup. If you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing on the phone before they get here, setting them up and setting the expectations, and if you're not doing the check-in the right way, and you're not following up throughout the day, and you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing to satisfy this customer, nothing's going to bring them back. So you have to do that. You have to deliver the vehicle the right way, and you have to invite them back in and get them set up for the next visit. Hey, that's what we got today. That's really all the time we have. We got pretty close to that 15 minutes, actually, so not bad, huh? So give me a call, 1-800-248-2931, 1-800-248-2931, so we can get you signed up for one of those workshops and talk to you about our in-store training and talk to you about our online virtual training and the many other things going on around here at Pro Talk. I'm telling you, it's going crazy. Things are buzzing. People like fixed stops, and you do too. That's why you're listening to this. So do me a favor between now and next week when I will do another podcast. I want you to go out and meet as many customers as you can and get them excited about your services to the point where they not only buy everything you offer today, but they come back for the next 3 or 4 decades and buy everything you ask them to buy, so you can earn a bunch of commission and live the lifestyle you deserve, because between now and next week, that is exactly what I'm going to do. Come and see me at one of these speaking events. I will blow you away. I am a dynamo on stage, people. You got to see it. Take care.